The galaxy was holding its breath, expecting a eulogy, not a miracle. When the human war veteran pried open the sealed crate, he knew only what he'd been told. It held a hated beast, a living symbol of a fallen alien king's cruelty. But what rose from the darkness wasn't just a monster. It was a scarred wolf, ancient and weary, with eyes that seemed to have died long ago, yet still watched everything. This man was no stranger to broken things. He'd survived 3 interstellar wars, his body a roadmap of scars and cybernetics, his sleep a battlefield of screams. He took the crate because no one else dared. The collapsed empire called the wolf a relic of fear, a failed weapon, a creature meant to be erased. Its fur was scorched. Its legs trembled with age, but it did not bow. It stared at the man, measuring him, not as prey or master, but as an equal. History painted a terrifying picture. This wolf, they said, was the king's enforcer, a hunter of rebels across desolate moons. When the king fell, the new court chained the wolf, sealing its mind with neurolocks, hating it for obeying its orders too well. But the veteran didn't care for legends or political grudges. He saw only the wounds. He cleaned them with steady hands. He offered food, bit by bit. For 3 nights, he slept on the cold floor beside the crate, not from trust, but from a soldier's instinct. Broken weapons, he knew, should never be left alone in the dark. On the 4th night, the silence shattered. A voice, low and clear, emerged from the wolf. Not a growl, but words, shaped with immense effort. Your hands. Do not shake when you touch pain. The veteran froze. Every instinct screamed threat. Every scar burned with old memories. Yet, he didn't reach for a weapon. He had learned long ago that silence kills more surely than any blade, Soe and Swerid. They spoke in fragments, to ghosts sharing a midnight confession. The wolf said its name was Ash. It was taught language to command fear, and punished for a single act of mercy the king had called betrayal. The human said his name only once. He said he fought because he was ordered to, and he stopped because he was tired of winning battles but losing himself. Ashkar listened like a soldier hearing the truth for the very first time. Days turned into weeks. News of the monster's survival spread like wildfire. Alien nobles demanded its destruction. Human veterans groups called for it to be studied, dissected, understood. The man ignored them all. He was busy with other things. He built a fence, not to keep Ashkar in, but to keep the world out. He planted trees. He let Ashkar feel the warmth of the sun on his old fur, and Ashkar learned new words. Not commands, but names for things. Wind, coffee. Morning. Then, one day, he heard the man laugh. It was a strange, foreign sound that baffled him, but somehow it stayed. Inevitably, the past came knocking. Raiders, loyal to the old regime, came for the wolf. They believed old loyalties never die. That night Ashkar stood between the house and the encroaching darkness, not because he was ordered to, but because he chose to. The fight was brutal and fast. Ashkar moved with the terrible grace of a forgotten era, a whirlwind of instinct and training. The veteran, his partner in this strange dance, covered the angles without a thought, their movements synchronized as if they'd fought together for a lifetime. When the dust settled, the raiders were gone, and Ashkar was wounded again. The man carried him inside. As blood pooled on the floor, Ashkar spoke, his voice strained. I was bred to obey hate, he rasped. You taught me rest. He paused, looking at the human. The king feared your kind. He said you end wars by ending the reasons for them. Ashkar lived, but the fight wasn't over. A trial was convened, broadcasts across the systems. The question echoed through the galaxy. Why was a human allowed to harbor a monster? The veteran spoke only once, his voice calm and steady. Monsters, he said, are made when mercy is punished. Then, Ashkar stepped forward. On shaking legs, he faced the Galactic Council. I was the king's voice, he declared, his words resonating with a new kind of power. Now, I choose my own. I choose silence over slaughter. I choose this human as my pack. The case was closed. Years passed. The wolf grew older, and the man grew quieter. They woke together every morning, two veterans from different wars, bearing different scars. Their small home became an unlikely sanctuary. Children of many species would visit, not in fear, but in wonder. They came to see the wolf who once shattered worlds, now standing guard over a simple garden. When Eshkar's final day came, he lay down for the last time. The man stayed with him. No words, no orders, just presence. To the galaxy, the wolf was a footnote in a history of violence, a weapon that was tamed, but the human remembered him as something more. He remembered him as proof that even the most hated, broken thing in the universe can choose a different path. If only one person refuses to be afraid of it,